Thank you guys for showing up on a tempestuous night to watch a lovely film about a lovely woman. My name is Ty Burr. I was a film critic at the Boston Globe for quite a while. I don't think I need to introduce this person next to me, but I'm going to do so anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Liv Ullmann.
And I will introduce him because I have just learned that he went almost to kindergarten and the first years in school with the daughter of my husband, who is sitting there.
Hi, Lisa. Yeah, we're going to have a little reunion there. I haven't seen her since we were, 12? Something like that. Well, but we're not here to talk about that. I hope you enjoyed the film. It really is a remarkable tour of a remarkable life. And so we're going to have a little conversation here. First of all, when you have you seen this film?
No, I have not seen the film, but I've seen a lot of the different parts of the film. I was invited. It has been shown just one time earlier, and that was in Cannes, and I didn't want to see it. I can't sit there and about myself and people are sitting around me. That would be
That's what I wanted to ask. Does the idea of a 2-hour-plus film about you make you feel good about yourself and want to run screaming from the room?
No, I would just be very embarrassed. I'm really very shy. I'm very shy, and because I was so shy, I think that was a help for me. Because the only way I could get attention, because I was also shy, I thought I was a nobody. Attention I got if I stood up and told a story, was a storyteller and so. And to sit with people while they look at me, no. I wouldn't like that.
I remember the last time we were on this stage was in 2016, and we had just watched a screening of Persona, the Ingmar Bergman film, and you startled the crowd by saying you had not seen the film since it had been released. I'm wondering, do you ever watch any of your old films?
No, I don't. I mean, they are not so often on TV when I'm in front of the TV. If I came over it, sometimes I come to introduce a film which is 20, 30, 40, 50 years old and so, and then I come in and I see the end of the movie. But what I'm thinking then I'm not so shy about it. I'm thinking, oh, there she is, oh, how young she was. That's not me, that's Bibi Andersson. And Max von Sydow, oh, he was so wonderful. And I'm thinking about things we were experiencing together. But I'm private. I'm not part of the movie, but and I have that luck. I can go back in my life and see part of my life by seeing part of a movie when I'm to introduce it.
Such an extensive filmography, and you have such a distinct persona in popular culture. What's your relationship to that woman? You sort of intimated that you see her on screen and you don't feel like it's you. How do you feel about your career? Do you feel that there's, what's your relationship to Liv Ullmann, the screen figure?
Well, I was happy that I could do something which gave attention to something that I was feeling and feeling very much about. Because when I talked, people didn't listen so much. And I even know, actually, we had a wonderful time together, the leaders of the theater and you and me, but then I'm always feeling, oh, they are talking to each other, and maybe I should say something now, and maybe I don't really know what I should say, and so I'm still that girl. But the moment I'm on a stage and I'm supposed to be something or to be a storyteller and so, then I'm not shy, because I feel I have a story to tell, not about me, but about the film or the theater or the silence, the beautiful silence between being on stage and with the audience. Then I feel that's what I can do in life.
I can guarantee you everybody's paying attention to you right now. Well, let's talk a little bit about your collaborators. I know that you talk a lot and are asked a lot about Ingmar Bergman, and to an extent I want to spare you that because I know that you sometimes get a little tired of that. I'm curious about, are there collaborators you've worked with over your career that you would like to sort of raise up and talk about that people don't ask you about that much? Whether they're actors or directors or writers?
I think what I remember, yes, there are actors, I do remember directors, but it's also people that I'm meeting on my way. And which I wouldn't have been meeting if I hadn't done a movie, and I came to this movie, and suddenly there's somebody who is a friend of mine, and it's a friend for life. Or I was on the stage on Broadway and was very occupied with my career. I had great success, and that was fun. And then we collected money, which I think you already saw here, for a march for freedom for Cambodian refugees and so. And that would never have happened if I wasn't an actor. It would never have happened that I came and gave the money that all the actors had collected. And the man said, you know, maybe you would like to march with us one day. I know it's in the movie, but things like that has been the most important. And when I said, well, is that going to be a long time? Because I wasn't aware. I didn't care. And he said, yeah, it's going to be for the rest of your life. When you ask me what I care about, it is those sentences that has been said to me, for the rest of your life. Or a little girl I'm meeting in a homeless shelter, and we don't speak the same language, and I don't really know how to contact her, and she suddenly is doing this on my hair because I had long hair, and she liked it. And then I did this on her hair, and then she was doing this, and I saw she had a beautiful glass ring on, and I did this to show her that, oh, what a beautiful ring. And then she just took the ring off and gave it to me. And I told that story to many events where I went, and people had fundraisings about this ring. I think this little girl who had nothing in life, and she was in a homeless shelter, she collected hundreds of thousands of dollars with this one glass ring. If you ask me who I would like to talk about of those I remember, that is people who somehow also changed my life, because I became aware of something I wasn't so aware of before I met that person. And there's many, many of those people.
What about the young man who, from, I believe, Nigeria, who you have helped out? Excuse me, Sierra Leone, thank you. Thank you. I saw the movie last week, so I didn't. Yes.
Yeah, well, he's now older than you. And he has 3 children and a wonderful wife who is also, you know, can't walk without crutches and so. And he's done so much in his life. I would never have known that when I met him, because then he felt unwanted, unseen. And suddenly he felt that somebody saw him and somebody listened to him, and maybe I didn't listen the way I should, and maybe I didn't see him the way I should, but he got a chance, and he came to England, and he got a wonderful education, and he's a great man. And I wouldn't have known it when I met him, but because I met him, we could do something together with life.
Do you think that kind of outreach and activism is something that today's actors and creative artists and celebrities, for lack of a better word, understand? Is that, I mean, I sometimes wonder in a world in which we're mostly staring at our own phones, where it's difficult to reach out and become involved in other people's lives to the extent that you have.
I think it's difficult if you spend your time, you know, looking here all the time, and I see people in restaurants, you know, family, and they're all doing this. Yes, I think it's difficult, and it worries me. It worries me with everything that I don't know about, anything digital I don't know about. I do believe that maybe if artists can reach people through cinema in a way that they don't do like they did before, because cinema has no more ads in the paper. People, specifically people of my age, we don't even know what's on the cinema. I believe that maybe people like you, people like me, people who are part of an audience, I think it is so important that we start to see each other, listen to each other, that there's something called silence. I know, like in 1960, I read a book about, she was called Rachel something, and already she was writing about how people were poisoning the world.
Right, Rachel Carson.
Yes,
yeah. Silent
exactly.
Spring.
And she said, can you imagine spring with no birds singing, no buds on the trees and in the grass? I do believe that we specifically who have jobs like you have, jobs like I have, people who want to come to events like this, that it's for us to come to people, be with people, listen to people, be part of people, and know that we are all born at the same time, we are here at the same time. No one has the right to exclude other people, whether for sex or color or whatever reasons we give to feel that we are superior and special. And the sad thing is, when you get older, like I am, so many things that I would like to express and say, and even was thinking about on my way here to the cinema, maybe I don't even have the words for it anymore.
I think you do. I think we're listening. Thank you. And I also think that through your example, both on screen and your off-screen efforts, you inspire, and people like you inspire. I wanted to ask you, because you talk a lot about in the film about how you were treated as a woman in the arts over the years. And I wanted to ask you what advice you might give to a young woman starting out in the arts, whether behind the camera, in front of the camera, wherever today in the film industry.
Well, it's not about you. No, I will show how we stand and how we look and what I am about. It's about that you have got a wonderful opportunity to share with people what it means to be alive, why we are, who we are. It's a wonderful opportunity. And if you use it in the right way, it will give you a really, really good life. Doesn't mean that you will necessarily be famous, but it will be that you learn to listen, you learn to see, because that is what you're using when you are on the stage. on a film or in your profession, or a dancer. A dancer, you see a dancer, and suddenly it's this wonderful miracle that you jump up and you stand and are in the air 2 seconds, then it's possible. And the silence, that we allow to give each other silence and listen.
Do you think that there are more opportunities for women in film than when you were beginning, and some of the experiences that you've had? Do you think things are better than they were?
Well, I thought things were great when I
Okay.
was.
Okay.
I've had
Because
an
it didn't sound
incredible life, and so has my colleagues. Actually, I think it is more difficult today because it's very difficult to be young and know that what I'm doing is art and not show off.
How do you know? How do you find that out? How do you make the distinction? What do you have to be alert to?
I don't know. It's who you are, what you feel. If you continue to be a show-off, sooner or later you are not part of the business anymore. Or maybe the business will be that the show-offs are what is left of our business. I don't know.
That's called TikTok. Yeah. If you don't mind, I kind of want to change the subject and ask some gossipy questions. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. I was sort of fascinated by the parts in your film and in your book as well when you're talking about your experiences in Hollywood. And I just find that idea of actors from European countries who've made their fame in challenging films coming to Hollywood, especially in the 70s, and being plugged into what Hollywood thinks of as entertainment films. I was thinking when Glenda Jackson recently passed away, and similar to you, was an actress who was considered sort of challenging and exotic, and came to Hollywood and was just put into romantic comedies. And I had the luck to interview her a bunch of years ago when she was on Broadway playing in King Lear, and she talked about her Hollywood era with sort of amazement and confusion. And she told me this one story about she was at an outdoor shoot in the middle of nowhere, Los Angeles, and she was wondering how they were going to light this scene because there was no generator, and a crew member came up and lifted up a piece of the lawn and plugged something in. And she said that was Hollywood. And it's what fascinated her about it and also made her want to leave. And I'm just wondering what your feelings about, because you spent a good chunk of time there and made some interesting movies. I'm fascinated by the fact that you made a Charles Bronson film, which I'm going to go try and look at because I don't think I've seen it. As you call it in the film, your first murder film. Have you made any other murder films?
Yeah, I made one with Max von Sydow and so, but it's no fun to do a murder film. Actually, Charles Bronson, I remember the first scene we had together, he was supposed to be my husband, and he was lying on the floor in this scene and bleeding because somebody had been shooting at him, but he wasn't dead. And I come in and I'm so shocked, and I kneel down and there's a cloth on the floor, and I take the cloth and it starts to wipe away the blood. And I did so on the rehearsal, wiped away the poor man's blood, and then there was the take and the camera and everything, and then we start, and I take the same cloth, of course, and wipe his blood, and he stops the whole thing and said, "Are you wiping me with that cloth that you had on the floor?" Yes, that was my first meeting with Hollywood, and I think maybe it will be my last too. I had another strange meeting actually in Hollywood, because my father died when I was 6 years old, and I missed him always, and I used to sit in the window at home, and I had the feeling that he would see me sitting there in the window and making drawings and showing him, because I felt he was flying back and forth by my window, and I missed him so much. And then I saw Stuart Granger. No, I just told you the story. James
Stewart.
James Stewart on the movie when I was like 13 years old, and I thought, oh God, I think that is my father. He looks like my father. And I thought of my mother. She has been in Hollywood. We were in Hollywood when we were in America. And so I had this strange dream. And for years, and I didn't really believe it, but I somehow believed it. And then I was nominated for an Oscar, and I came to Hollywood, and everything was fantastic. And suddenly I saw James Stewart, and he was standing there, and I thought, oh, well, he will probably be a little moved when I go over to him and say, you know, I thought you were my father. and so I went slowly up to him and I said, hello, I'm Liv Ullmann from Norway, and I have to tell you, you know, I think you may be my father. And he looked at me. Oh, the eyes were not my father's. And he turned his back to me and he just walked away from me.
Surprised he only walked away.
He walked away, and that's why I don't even remember his name when I want to tell that story.
I just wonder how many Hollywood stars have had people come up to them and say, I think you're my father. Oscar nominated or not. I know you're not going to tell me, but I kind of have to ask, who was the actor that Rock Hudson saved you from?
I'm never going to say that. Is it in the movie?
It's in the, you tell the story, but you do not name the actor.
No, I'm never going to say it. But what I say is I remember people for the way they are, the way they talk to you, the way they care. And to be in this place, and I didn't really know what that actor was going to do with me since we were alone, but I know when it rang on the door and outside is Rock Hudson, and he said, Liv, come with me now. You know, you don't remember bad things in life, but you do remember such good sentences from people that you believe are your friends. And maybe we should soon stop now, but I want to say one thing. I'm getting to be 85, and I know age is very much part of me, and I would like to write about it. And I would say that when I turned 80, I felt there is a big difference in my life from when I was 70 and when I'm now turning 80. And I wanted to spend my 80th birthday at a very special place. I was born in Japan because my father worked there. And I wanted to go to Japan. I'd read about an island outside of Tokyo where there were people with leprosy. And when I left Japan, I was 2 years old, and it was in 1940. And these people that came to this island outside of Tokyo, they were more or less my age because they sent children away because they had leprosy or their parents had leprosy. I wanted to go to that island and communicate with them, because always when I met people, I used to write about what they were saying and what they were doing. And I came to this island and I was all alone, and I thought, this is very strange, Liv, that you're going on your 80th birthday to an island with people who have leprosy. And they were told when they came there, you cannot leave this island. And they had lived there all this time. And there were more than 2,000 when they came, and now it was 200 left. And they taught me something fantastic because, like you say, I've had such a fantastic, fantastic life, and I have ugly thoughts, and I do so many wrong things in my thoughts, and so. And here I am with these people who could never leave this island, and I asked them, and we had interpreters, I asked them, don't you want to write about your life? And say, no. And then they told about their life, living here and finding meaning in living on this island and never coming away from this island. And they said, you know, we run around a tree, we put our hands up in the air, and we say, thank you, God, for the life we have. And we, you know, to come here and see the 200 that were left from more than 2,000, and they were grateful for the life they had been given and for the thoughts that they nourished, that they had within them, which were warm and good, and even for a foreigner who's coming, whose language they didn't understand and I didn't. That is an experience. And I think if I was to look back at, you know, really incredible, strange things I did in my life, it was suddenly to go to that island because it gave me so much of hope, what it means to be a human being, and if we allow ourselves to be the best that we can be, it's worth living, even when you're 85. Yes, even then.
I don't think I can follow that up with anything. I want to thank you very, very much. And I would like to say that before we call it an evening, I believe that Beth Gilligan and the Coolidge folks have something that they would like to say, and Kathleen as well. Catherine?
Here. Yeah. Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Beth Gilligan, Deputy Director here of the Coolidge Corner Theatre. You met Kathy earlier. Just want to say, Liv, you are such an inspiration to us, and back in 2004, we created something called the Coolidge Award to honor film artists who've made outstanding and original contributions to cinema. Our first honoree was the filmmaker Zhang Yimou, and over the years we've awarded Meryl Streep, Jane Fonda, Werner Herzog, Jonathan Demme, and many others. And tonight,
in recognition of your extraordinary career and contributions to humanity and your great friendship with the Coolidge, we are so honored and hope you will accept this Coolidge Award from us so that we can put you up there where you belong on our wall of Coolidge Award fame.